Yo, what's going on, guys? It's your boy Haiga, and today I wanted to take some time to make some videos, mainly this video because I've been thinking about making it, and figured I could help shed some knowledge or spread some awareness on Summoner. Now, if you have been keeping up with my stream, you know that over the past few weeks I've been working on Summoner. I used to have Gun Lancer and then a second Gun Lancer in my main 6, and I was just getting tired of playing of the same class and having to switch over the gems. I'm just too lazy for all that. I'd rather just go character to character and then go from there. And I'm playing Master Summoner, the spec, bursty whatever build, and I've been struggling. I'm not gonna lie, it's my first mage. I had a Sork. I got her to tier 2 or something like that, like 600 item level a long time ago, and I have a bar that's like 1370. I don't have much experience with the casting types, so this is my first one. And just in case you were thinking of making a summoner, and maybe you're like me, maybe you play a lot of artillerists or big clunky warriors and gunners, and you're not used to it, or maybe you're just want to see what's up, I'm gonna try and talk about some of the struggles I have had personally with the class. Now, right now, as of the time I'm making this video, it's March. This is the most recent class to come out. We're getting artists next week, so I'm hoping in the future, especially in April, once we get the 1540 Chaos Dungeon, along with Hanamatan and all that stuff, we're going to be getting more relic tripods consistently, so the overall tripod prices and engraving prices will drop, because right now, I'm having regrets, because this has been the most heavy I've invested into any of my characters. This easily... Gear, books, jewelry, this is the most money I've spent on a character. It's not even close. It's literally double, almost double the gold per book than my second most expensive class, which was Artillerist. When I brought those books, they had went up to well, now they're 8k, but when I brought them, they were 3k. Shock was 7k when I finished buying the books. But let's start off with some of the simple things. Hopefully in the future the stuff drops down in price so you don't have to worry too much about it. But the main thing that I struggle with is the overall rotation. And now, how does Master Summoner work? As far as I know, it's pretty similar to Artillerist in the sense of you're building up your meter and you want to use your meter for your damage. So we have our 5, summons, and the main one that you use for damage is Akir. Akir is the big damage one. And so you use skills to charge up your little bubble diamond things. I don't even do these. Elemental orb. Okay, your orbs, I guess. Your ancient energy orbs. You're charging these up, and then you want to burst with Akir. Now, along with that, you also have Surety, which is... I can't even think of anything else, any other class that has a similarity to it. It's a buff. It's a self buff, I guess, and you just pretty much have him out all the time. Today I got a level 5 tripod for a stable Surety, which is the duration on how long he lasts, and that along with swiftness. As you can see, you summon Surety and he lasts for 20 seconds. The tripod allows him to stay out for an extra 8 seconds, so 28 seconds, and the cooldown on it is 23 seconds. So you can have pretty much 100% uptime on it, and while he is active, he gives you 10.3% crit rate. I don't have that tripod maxed. I believe it's 11.6 if you max it out. 11.8% extra crit rate, which is very nice because this is a keen blunt, right? This class uses keen blunt, so the more crit rate the better. I want to max that tripod out, but that is not one of the main tripods that I'm going to be going for right now. Now we want to have this up, right? Because you want the crit rate. It also gives you mana regen, which is helpful because we don't use Nightmare. And we have self buffs. So we have Sticky Maw Swap, which is our synergy and a self buff, and then we have Elcid, which is a self buff. So if you play Gun Lancer, think of these like Bash. Or if you've been playing Scrapper since a long time ago, the old Charging Blow, where you just use it, you get a small 3 to 5 second big attack power buff that you want to make sure you use before you are proccing your big skills. So normally you make sure everything is up. You'll throw down Akir, and then you'll throw down the self buff so that the self buff is active by the time Akir pops. Right? Now, there is an overall rotation as far as, getting, when you start off, right? When you have no cores and you're just starting to get your cores, right? Your orbs, right? Now, here's the thing. Here's one of my struggles. Not all the bosses stand this still. So if you miss any of these skills, if you miss your W, your E, or if the boss like Kalilagos jumps away from your Electric Storm, because Electric Storm is tracking, so it'll go over to the boss. But the more ticks on it, because that's your main meter gain, that's your biggest meter gain. Think of it if you play War Dancer, kind of like, I think it's called Energy Combustion, the little thing that swirls around you, that you want to make sure it's hitting the boss as much as possible so you can get those extra bubbles. It's like that. You want to make sure that as many of those hit as possible because that's your big meter gain, right? There's a tripod on it, 150% additional meter gain on the bottom, legendary wealth on it, big skill, right? Very important. But if the boss moves away, you're not getting all that meter, right? So if you miss this and you miss Water Elemental, you're just not going to get enough for a Kier. So it's hard to adjust to, okay, if I don't have enough for a Kier, what do I do, right? Now, when you play a class for a long time, eventually you get used to just knowing what skills do damage, knowing what you can do, and adjusting, and that is some of the struggles that I've been having. With my other classes, if I miss a skill, I know what I'm missing, I know what I can do in the meantime, I know what I can do as filler skills. I don't even know. There's not that, like, there's some guides out there. I need help though. I need help. I don't know. I need like guidance from the summoner gods or something. That's one of the biggest things I struggle with, is if I don't get my Akir, then I'm just sitting there doing this until the skills are off cooldown, which is not ideal because they're not exactly short cooldowns. You know what I mean? Like 17 seconds, 13 seconds, all of them have an over 10-second cooldown. That's a lot of downtime with your skills that you don't want to be messing up. Now, I do know that you can use Elcid and Sticky Moss Swamp with Ancient Spear and Earth Collapse, which are your other, like, damage skills. We run 3 damage gems, 2 damage gems here, and then a damage gem for your meter. And this is the other thing that I did not think I was going to struggle with, but is actually incredibly frustrating. Hitting Ancient Spear. Now, on a boss like Lumeris, it is not too bad, and I was watching Saiwo's video on it, and he gave some good tips. It helped me a bit, because you can see that when you use Ancient Spear, there's an AoE telegraph. This AoE telegraph that goes off is actually where it... Okay, relax. Is actually where it hits. You see how it's a big explosion? So it has AoE, but... So you don't need to hit the spear directly, but you still got to get pretty close, right? Now, the thing is, it's that last spear, bro. It's that last spear. You have to hold it pretty close to make sure you hit all 3. And on bosses like Vicus, Cuckoo, Belshaza, oh my god. I cannot explain how frustrating it is. And maybe I just suck. I probably do. I'm new to this class. I'm still adjusting. This is only like my second week doing raids. I did Brel 5 and 6 for the first time this week. So I'm still adjusting to the overall rotations and getting used to the skills and all that. My tripods are definitely not maxed. Tripods are ridiculously expensive, so I'm still working on that. Some of these tripods are going for like 8K minimum. But that is definitely something that if it frustrates you, it's probably going to frustrate you here too. Because it's like Blast Formation or Strike Wave, but worse. Because it's much bigger. Like War Dancer, you could take a half step back or a step back and your Blast Formation, or Striker, right? And your Blast Formation is hitting. Same thing with Berserker. You take a step back, your Strike Wave is going to hit all the way through. Even on some of the smaller bosses, maybe you'll miss the last one, but it's more hits, I think. I think Strike Wave is like 4 or 5 hits or something like that. But this thing is just incredibly frustrating to miss. And it is definitely going to take some getting used to, because the bosses are not like Lumeris. They are going to be moving, and being able to line it up so that, think of the boss trying to hit all of them this way, you have to line it up well, right? Because that last one didn't hit, right? That's one of the things that I've struggled with as well, is positioning. I play Gunlancer, Artillerist, Scrapper, Destroyer. All of those classes are melee, except for Artillerist. And Artillerist, you can be this close, or you can be this close, and it'll have the same effect. It doesn't matter. But I feel like with Summoner, you kind of got to be careful on your positioning, which if you played Sorceress, probably isn't too bad. You're probably used to that. But this is my first mage, my first casting with these type of big skills and stuff like that, and I feel like that is something that people may not be aware of that you may struggle with. So just be prepared if you ever want to tackle this class, because for the love of God, I try to just focus on hitting my ancient spears. I don't even care about doing damage. I know I don't do damage right now. So I'm just like, when I'm in gate 3, I'm like, okay, like, will this hit? Will this hit? Will this hit? And I spend more time trying to figure out if I'm going to hit the skill than actually just sending it, because it's still just incredibly frustrating when you don't see that third one hit. You know what I mean? So you can't be too close, because if you're this close, you literally, like, you can't you can't make it any closer to you. Can I? Like, is that even possible? Yeah, like, but that pivot is so small that it's so easy to just, like, look at that. I'm moving the mouse barely, and look how much it's wiggling around. You know what I mean? So probably better just play from distance, which I have to get used to because most of my classes are melee. Now, on the other side of thing, if you don't know anything about Summoner, great utility class, which is what I love about Gunlancer. Gunlancer has lots of stagger, lots of weak point, and Summoner does as well. Now, one of the other things that I struggle with is this meter. The thing that I hate the most about it is you can only go in one direction. So I can't go right to left. I can only go left to right. So as you can see, I can't. Let's say I'm trying to get the dragon, the blue one, and I accidentally click X1 too many times. I have to go all the way back, which is annoying. You have to press it 5 times to get back to where you were. And that's important because there are different meter usages based on what you're doing, right? So if you're going for a big stagger check, you can use the purple one, and this is big stagger. If you're going for weak point, you can use the foot to stomp, and that's really easy. Okay, I didn't mean to use that. You can use the foot, which is very quick weak point. What is that, weak point 2, I think? Yeah, you can just spam that pretty much. And same thing with ancient spear. Each of the spears is 1 weak point. 1, 2, 3. So that's 3 weak point right there if you land all of them. Super clutch for bosses like Galilagos that have quick weak point checks, and Earth Collapse, which you normally use with animation canceling. The ancient spears also has weak point. Now, speaking of animation canceling, if you're not familiar with that, that's going to be a whole other thing in itself as far as playing Summoner, because Summoner is literally all about animation canceling. Apparently, Saiwo said in his video that they used to even bring a skill on their bar just for animation canceling. They used to bring Winged Spirit just to animation cancel ancient spears, which is kind of insane to me. So a lot of times you can animation cancel Electric Storm, which is, like I said, your big meter gain. So I'll animation cancel that with Akir, then use the damage boost, animation cancel the ancient spears with that. Then I have another Akir, right? And overall, if you can land everything, it's a really fun class. I imagine she can hit pretty high numbers. I've heard that she's one of those classes that really shines when you get like 8s, 9s for gems. I'm just rocking 7s for now, and it definitely feels better, but it is still incredibly frustrating to play the class and just be a perma fighter. Because I don't know about you guys, but when I'm working on trying to improve and get better with a class, and I just see fighter, 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 it lets me know, right? I'm not trying to get the top damage, but the fact that I can't even get above 30% when there's only 4 people, one of them is a support, so everyone should ideally be doing around 33% damage, and I can't even get past 30, it frustrates me. It frustrates me to maximum degree. Now, I don't have max tripods, but I'm working on it, and I don't have LOS 30, but I don't feel like I need LOS 30 to be getting upright fighter. I know 100% it's that I'm struggling. I know my rotations are off. I know my rotations suck. I know I'm missing a lot of skills. My uptime is just not great. So I'm struggling. And that's what I wanted to make this video about, because maybe you guys are struggling too. The last time I had a class like this that I struggled with really bad was Scrapper. And that was when I first made her. That was probably like 10 months ago. And it's tough, but I'm hoping and having positive thoughts for moving forward because I know that this class is so strong. I know that Master Summoner is one of the crazier bursty classes that is available in the game, and I know it's good, which is why it's even more frustrating that I suck with it. So for the people who maybe were looking to make Summoner and were curious about maybe the other side of thing, right? I'm not doing like a DPS test or, you know, getting 50% damage and in Brawl Shaza or some crazy flex. This is basically just me being real and vulnerable. So hopefully some of this information was helpful to you. And maybe if you are a Summoner god or you're just better than me and you would like to help, feel free to comment down below on some tips, because I'm always open to trying to learn and get better because obviously I suck. But anyways, it's me, your boy Haiga. I hope this type of video was okay. It was kind of just me rambling and ranting, and I normally feel a little bit self-conscious about doing videos like this, but I think I wanted to give it a try. So if you want to see me do more videos like this on other classes, let me know. Until next time, it's me, your boy.